We're having a home birth. Hello, welcome to Meet the Hovies. My name is Kayla, and today we are going to be talking about why we're doing a home birth. So first and foremost, I am currently 21 weeks pregnant, possibly 22 when this video comes out. And this is my third pregnancy. We have two children right now, Isaac, who is 4.5 years old, and Adelaide, who just turned 3. And both of them were born in the normal hospital setting. This time around, we have decided to go with a home birth, which I'm excited about, a little bit nervous, but overall my midwife has calmed a lot of those nerves. We started looking into home birth, how we decided to go with home birth instead of the traditional hospital route, why we started looking into it. So I'm not going to go too deep into my birth stories with my first two, but it basically comes down to this. With Isaac, I labored for a good, I started contractions with him at like 5 a.m. and he was born at like 3 a.m. And with Adelaide, I started contractions, my very first contraction was about 6 a.m. and she was here before noon. With the speed of which Addie came, that's really why I started to look into home birth as an option. She came very quickly and I was very sure that I was going to have her in the car when somebody stopped at a yellow light. And having a baby in the car freaks me out. When she came so fast, first of all, we weren't sure if we were going to have more, but then probably before she turned 1, I knew we were going to have more. Things really encouraged me. I watched quite a few people, their stories like on Instagram and YouTube and Facebook, wherever else, TikTok. Started researching after my pregnancy and my labor and birth with Adelaide. It kind of became a joke between Ben and I. We moved into this new house in 2021 and our master bathroom has a like garden tub, which is just the corner one with like the jets and stuff. Ben's joke has been, next baby, you'll just have this baby in the tub and then we don't have to worry about it because I'll just rip it out and we'll replace everything. We need to do the master bathroom anyway. I was like, well, that's funny, but like, no. If we're going to have a home birth, we're going to get a midwife and like have people here that know what's going on. And the new house is actually farther away from the hospital than our old house was. Don't want a car birth. So let's just put a plan in place where we're going to have people come here and we're going to have this baby at home. And the other part of that is that I did go natural with Adelaide. So I've done the no medication, and even with my first pregnancy, that was the plan. I wasn't going to be upset if we didn't, but the plan was to go unmedicated, and I did for about 15 to 18 hours, and then I ended up getting an epidural. So why not? Already have done it. But the second reason is actually, it's not as important, and I know that. Please do not come at me. I know that this is not as big of a deal, but it was a big headache for us 2 times now. So we are blessed enough that I get to stay home while Ben goes to work. He's got a great job, and with his great job comes amazing health insurance. And a big part of that health insurance is that my prenatal care is 100% covered. And then we pay the hospital bill, it's like covered 80%, which is awesome and nothing to complain about. The problem that we had is the hospital billing system that we dealt with made huge mistakes with our payments and sending in claims for the work. With Isaac, we paid over the phone in cash. You get like a % discount if you do that, so you know. And they applied that payment to the wrong account. And we ended up in a medical collections agency paying that monthly, and then a few months later we got a check back from the hospital for that amount of money. So it all evened out kind of, but it was a very big headache. Ben spent a lot of time on the phone with hospital billing. And the first time we kind of chalked it up that we just didn't know what we were doing. The second time around, we'll get it better. And the same thing happened again. And for Ben, that was a big deal. It's kind of known in the area that that hospital specifically is just really notorious for billing issues. Once we found out we were having the third, I started to look into home birth more seriously. I met with a midwife, and I even started to look into other hospital systems because we just have kind of been feeling like we should probably just switch. There's just been a lot of headaches in a few different areas. So those are the 2 reasons that we have decided on home birth, or why we really started looking into it. Just issues with hospital billing, and that Addie came so fast, and I do not want to have this baby in the car. And when we got pregnant with the third baby, I started to talk to the people I knew in my area that have had home births, ask them who they used, like what their experience was like, and I really just got really amped up and excited, and I was pretty sold right there. And I ended up meeting with My midwife now, people come from her to train as a midwife from all across the country. The woman I met with wasn't my actual midwife because she was out of birth when I met them. But the woman I met was one of her students who was from, I think she said either Baltimore, I don't know, somewhere on the East Coast, that she was training here with my midwife. What I got out of the first meeting, even with just the student, was that the care is so much more personalized, and they're all about like informed consent and stuff like that. You know, she was like, we won't even take your blood pressure without getting the okay from you, which if you know me, I'm very compliant. I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever. I asked her, I didn't really know what questions to ask. I asked her a few questions about like the financial stuff. And then I asked her like, what is the biggest difference between these appointments? Are there less? Are there more? Compared to like normal OB prenatal appointments. And then she kind of just explained to me kind of how the whole thing works. I was pretty excited. They just talked to me a ton, and it was just it's a lot more personalized. I don't know if you've been to an OB appointment. Typically you go in and you sit down and you talk to the nurses, which I loved all my nurses and I loved all my doctors. But then the doctor comes in and basically is like, how you feeling? And you're like, oh, I'm good. And then they're like, you have any questions? And most of the time I would be like, not really. And I just go on from there. And I actually just had this conversation with my best friends. I think I don't complain enough about things. Like, I'm way too go with the flow sometimes. I'm always like, yeah, I'm fine. Like, yeah. And there's a lot of that I think just comes from being from a big family. And there's another piece of it that I think, I don't chalk a lot of stuff up to pregnancy. I'm just like, yeah, oh, I've been a little tired, but like, oh, I'm pregnant, I have kids. So when I went to my very first appointment with my midwife just a week or two ago, that really became clear. She asked me so many questions about just how I'm doing. She asked me how I've been eating, asked me about how much like exercise I've been getting, encouraged me to get a lot of protein. Talked to me about, she asked if my hands itched. Just a lot of probing questions to see like my overall health picture and how stuff is going. And then of course they still took my blood pressure and the Doppler to get the baby's heartbeat. And she like gave me a hug when I walked in, which I'm all about. So yeah, so it's just a lot more personalized, and that just kind of, I don't know, it's kind of exciting, which it should be because you're giving birth and people are going to be all up in your business. With the things that I talked about as far as why I started looking into home birth, with the speed at which Addie came, the billing issues, and just wondering what else was out there. And then how we actually decided was when I got home from that first just initial like meet and greet with the midwife, well, the midwife student. Other kind of factors that go into it is that I'm a good candidate just because I have had low risk pregnancies and low risk births. I'm excited, a little bit nervous still, but so how I actually fully decided on having a home birth. I felt really good about it, and I was like, I think this is the way we're gonna go. And Ben was just like, let's do it, I'm in. He still thinks he's gonna deliver this baby, but whatever. And I came home and I started to fill out like all the paperwork for the midwife. And then I went on Instagram, and of course somebody was like on a reel or something was telling their story about having a bad experience with home birth. So then I got nervous. And so I decided to pray about it. Was like, okay, Jesus, if I'm gonna have a home birth, like I'm feeling pretty confident about it. If I see a rainbow this week, I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna take that as a sign that it's time to go. And if I see 8, I think I said 8 cardinals in one day, we're not gonna do it. We're gonna do normal hospital birth. And I didn't see any cardinals that week, but I think like 3 days later, one of my friends posted on her like Instagram story or Facebook, I don't know which one, but she went to the park with her 2 kids, and there it was clear sky and there was a rainbow, and she posted it. And I like texted Ben and I was like, can this be considered my sign? And he was like, absolutely. So I texted my friend and I was like, okay, so I told her the whole thing, and she was like, that's so awesome. She was like, I wasn't even gonna post it, it was just gonna be like a picture I had. And that's how I decided on home birth. Basically, and everything since has made me feel really good. I loved meeting the midwife, loved the conversation that we had, and just how personalized it was. I was sitting there talking to the midwife for like an hour instead of, you know, the 10 minutes with a normal OB. So I'm really excited, and my husband's really excited. The kids don't know what's going on because they're toddlers, but We are definitely going to be documenting this journey. I'm hoping to upload to YouTube like once a week. Probably not always going to be about the birth thing. If you are at all interested in home birth, definitely go ahead and hit that subscribe button, the little notification bell, or whatever that thing is, so that you'll know when I upload. I definitely want to document as we go, and we'll do some like little vlogs and stuff maybe of the day. You can also follow along on Instagram. I'm on there pretty much daily, sporadically daily, not all day, but sporadically. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this interesting if you are looking into home birth at all, and I'm excited to see how all this goes. So yeah, have a great day. We're having a home birth.